That I would on the low. What's up with you, ho? Bitches smoking drone. Bitch, you know, bust like 44 when I spit that flow. Cause we go hard like that shit. They hustle on the boulevard. Fuck your broad, bitch. I bet.
Yo guys, what's going on? It is Aces here today with a Division review on the open beta. Now, I did not get to actually physically play the closed beta, but I did get to play the alpha. Now, I can't discuss that. I believe I'm still under a contract not to discuss that. But I did watch some of the closed beta, so I can really have something to compare it to. But actually physically playing the open beta, I was very impressed, and this is going to be my review for it. So I have a couple things written down. I'm going to say those really quickly, and that's just what I could come up with on spot. So I have the movement, the gun mods, and the custom ability with them, the graphics, the storyline, the open world, the combat, and the dark zone. Now, those are just some things that come up very quickly, but there's probably a couple things that I will miss. Let's get right into it. For the movement, I rated it 8 out of 10. Now, the movement in the game is everything. How you get around the map, how you travel. Now, I'm pretty sure there is a fast travel ability in the Division, but I'm not quite sure. I tried to use it on the open beta, and I couldn't use it. It was very odd. So I had to actually run everywhere, which your movement is actually quite fast in it, but it is quite annoying. But that's not why I rated it 8 out of 10. The movement has a lot of little things you can do, such as if you're sprinting forward at full speed, you can click the stick backwards, and you will actually turn right around and head full speed backwards. That I liked a lot. I was going to give it a 7 out of 10, but I thought about that small mechanic, and I enjoyed it a lot, so I put it up to an 8 out of 10. The reason I did put it 2 points lower is because when you're in combat sometimes, now keep in mind this is a beta, but when you're in combat, going cover to cover and around cover is actually a bit difficult. And then they added in B to mantle over things, which me, for myself in a third-person shooter, am not used to. I really am used to the same button to move cover to cover, which is usually A. I'm used to using that to mantle over it as well. So having it as B was really odd to me, but I did get used to it. But I did rate it 8 out of 10 just because of, you know, kind of trying to get around a cover and aiming over cover. It was just the movement on it was a bit shaky. Everything else was pretty darn crisp. Let's go on to the gun mods. Gun mods, I gave it a 10 out of 10 because there is a lot of options here. You know, other games you can customize them a good lot, but there's 4 attachment slots and 1 skin slot. Now the skin slot, awesome. Gives them room for DLC. I like the idea. You have the option for a sight. You have the option for an extended magazine. There could be other attachments as well for that. You have an option for a laser, a grip. I think those are both considered in the underbarrel though. And then you have the option for a muzzle, which obviously would be suppressor, compensator, or a muzzle brake or something like that. So a lot of customability there. I like it. 10 out of 10. Let's move on to the graphics. Now it is a beta, but let me tell you something. The graphics were nice. They were excellent for a beta. 10 out of 10, 100%. It was very clear, crisp. There was like one spot I seen, and that's when you're in the dark zone, and when you actually look down into one of these subways, it doesn't load in properly. But that's not going to affect it because that can easily be fixed. Graphics, 10 out of 10. You could see there was actually weather in the beta. That's huge to me, that they're going to put weather and make it so nice and clear in the beta, and I just cannot wait for the actual game to come out. Let's go into the storyline. Now, the storyline, there's a couple things that kind of bother me, but I still gave it a 10 out of 10. You start right out as a Division agent, and you look, it looks pretty entertaining. It definitely seems there's a good story built behind it, and I would love to play it on March 8th. Now, the one thing that really kind of nags me about it is the side missions. Really, I don't know how I feel about it, because side missions use them to level up, but they're kind of in the way a little bit. I don't know how I feel about them yet. I did like 1 or 2, but I mean, side missions can be intertwined with side objectives, so I don't know. I still gave the storyline 10 out of 10, but I thought I'd discuss the side missions being kind of an issue in my opinion. We have the fact that it's an open world, and I gave this a 10 out of 10 as well, because what the beta gave us was so much. They gave us so much of the map to explore and run around in just a beta, and that is awesome. That just shows how big this game is actually gonna be. And you know, you can't go inside all the buildings, so you know, I'm guessing that gives them a lot more room to make more of a laid out map and more streets. So definitely the fact that it's open world and you can be with your friends on it is just awesome. 10 out of 10 as well. Next, I'm going to be discussing the lowest rating on my list, and that is the combat. The combat, there's a couple things I don't like, and I'm going to try and go over as much as I can right off the top of my head. First thing that comes to mind is the AI with LMGs. Those guys are the biggest pain in the ass. They literally, like, they go through a reload or cooldown. I don't know what it is, but when they do that, that's when you can hit them. But other enemies move in on you, and if you try to peek over your cover and that LMG's lighting you up, you're done. If you don't hit your med kit fast enough, you are done. The thing melts you. It's so realistic, which makes it really nice, but it is kind of irritating, especially if you're in a no respawn zone. But those dudes with the LMGs will just sit there and fire at you. They won't stop. They will suppress the crap out of you, and they are really irritating. Now, in the dark zone against actual players, it's very irritating as well because your guns don't do a lot of damage. You would expect them to, but they really don't. And along with the combat, you have the extra kick added in the weapon to make it more realistic. So when I was using my M4, I would come up behind a guy in the dark zone that was rogue, and I would just light him, and then I'd be out of ammo, and I have to switch to my secondary, which is that extra second that could cost you. And the fact that I can't put a whole clip into somebody and not kill them, that is ridiculous. And that's without them using a med kit. Because of the recoil and other factors involved, I could not kill him in one clip. And, you know, I understand the game's trying to be realistic, but if you're being realistic, a clip into the back will kill them. So, combat, 7 out of 10. I don't know if really I wanted to rate it higher. Other combat against regular AIs and not rare enemies was fairly easy and kind of not a challenge. So, really, I think they need to downgrade some of the enemies and upgrade some of the enemies. But I feel like they will make it great any way they put it in the Division, the final game. So my last thing on this list, and I have it circled because it's that important, probably the best part of the game, and that this part of the game is actually going to attract a lot of people, I guarantee it, is the Dark Zone. And the Dark Zone is where you can fight for loot and you have to extract it, and the whole concept behind the Dark Zone is genius. What they did is they made a thing where other players can squad up and then go into the Dark Zone and try and dominate what they want, and they can get loot extracted out of there. It's such a genius concept because some of the best loot can be found and gotten in the Dark Zone. It is genius what they did with it, and it was probably the most played thing I had on there. I did a couple of story missions, got to like level 6 or 5, and then I just played the Dark Zone the whole time. Probably the best part of the game, rated it 11 out of 10 just because it was that good. Now, there are some places in the Dark Zone where there's some pretty strong AI, and some people are relentless. They'll come right out of respawn and light you up, go rogue. And now, people, when they see a rogue agent, are relentless as well. So, unless you have a squad, don't go rogue alone. But this game overall is excellent. And if I had to have rate it out of 100, I would probably give it a solid 90 or a 9 out of 10. You know, I know, you know, the combat and the little things really affect the rating kind of, but this game is definitely one to buy. If you don't buy it, you're going to be missing out unless you really despise shooters or you despise third-person games, but I highly advise you to just buy this game. And if you're not sure about it, watch some gameplay first, or watch what you're seeing right now a little more in depth. Look at the little things. And I think you really will enjoy this game once it finally comes out. I know I will. There's going to be a lot more content coming to Aces Gaming for the Division. Hopefully you'll stick around for that. Subscribe if you're new around here. Like the video if you did enjoy. Check out my sponsors in the description below. Thank you so much for watching my review for the Division Open Beta. I hope you did enjoy it. I'm out.